Hello and welcome to First Cut with Milton Hunt, First Credit Union Training. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about what every credit union board member should know. We'll be covering governance, ethics, leadership, and strategic planning. So stay with us. We'll be right back. This week's episode of First Cut is brought to you by
Does the image of your credit union lack impact? I'm Tom Hewlett, president of Signature Group, and this is Cube, Credit Union Brand Engineering. It's time to transform your credit union from dated to exciting, from ordinary to extraordinary. An enhanced image will alter the perception of who you are, add consistency to your member marketing program, and imply a progressive fresh start. Don't just stand there. Stand out.
Synergy Credit Union Consulting, where strategy meets implementation. In today's tough economic environment, with compressed margins and increasing regulation, financial institutions are trusting Synergy's advisory services to manage risk and eliminate hurdles. Synergy provides a suite of risk management services, including compliance, loan review, internal audit, and pre- and post-exam consulting. Synergy is the advisory firm financial institutions trust to manage risk and optimize performance. Find out today what Synergy can do for your organization. It's accessibility and credibility you can count on.
First of all, we'd like to acknowledge our partner, the Caribbean Confederation of Credit Unions, who's been so kind in collaboration with Hunt International to bring you this training. So here we are. We're on the CCCU website, where you can see they've already put up the announcement for the upcoming conference. Also here, if you come out to their website, you want to see the leadership team that's involved. Here we have the board of directors right here. Let me just punch down this one. Okay, here's Aaron. It's kind of his contact information. To get to know more about the organization, please visit their website. You'll see they're very user-friendly. I encourage you to come out here. And to our partner, we say thank you, CCCU. I also want to take a minute and thank all the folks from down in the Caribbean and St. Kitts. We had a great time. See, I got my hat here on set. We had a great time with you at the OECS Summit. Met a lot of great friends. Looking forward to building some more relationships. So why don't we get started a little bit talking about leadership here so you get a sense of where we're going today. You see, leadership, nothing can stop the man with the right mental attitude from achieving his goal. Nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude. So if you have something to write with, I want you to write down for me right now that we're going to talk about attitude, that you have to have the right attitude to serve people and to be in this, what I'll call prestigious position of serving people on credit union boards. We also know, here's another definition of leadership I want to share with you, that leadership is the ability to create an environment where individuals willingly apply their unique abilities to a common mission. Leadership is about the relationship between the leaders and their team. Show me a leader that's building relationships with people, and I'll show you an organization that's moving forward. So to all my leaders watching today, here's a tip. Work on your relationship skills. Work on building cohesive relationships. While it only takes years to build relationships, it takes just a few seconds to tear them down. What is the value of the relationships you're building? From chair to chairman, from secretary to vice chair, to regular board members at large, to the CEO of the organization, to the community that you serve. Remember, we're here to build bridges and to build relationships. You see, what I believe is leadership is a function. It's not a position. It's not something that you just arrive at. It's not something that you have met this destiny or you've arrived at a place where you no longer have to work, because leadership is really a function. It's not a position. It's really time to go to work. As you look at the picture there, you see that beautiful boardroom, and all so often we want to be there, but we don't want the responsibility that comes with sitting in those seats. So keep in mind that leadership is a function. We want to get started now on talking about our topics today. And the first one we want to talk about is governance and ethics. You see, you have to participate responsibly. You have to understand that your participation comes with a price, and that the decisions you make are going to impact people. So we can't make selfish decisions. We can't make decisions based upon what we think, what I call inward thinking, but we got to think outward about what's best for the people that we serve. The next one is be a proactive board member. Be solutions oriented, not problem focused. Oftentimes we sit around and talk about what we can't do versus what we can do. So to all my board members today that are watching, I need you to be proactive. Look for ways that we can do it. Look for ways that it will work, not while it won't work. Next, I think this is important. You should think upward and outward more than downward and inward. You know, you've heard it said oftentimes that we need to think outside the box. Well, I'm not sure what your box looks like. I'm not sure what the community you serve looks like, but I can tell you this. Innovative thinking, proactive thinking, forward thinking is what we need from our leaders and our directors that serve on these boards. You have to think beyond where you're presently at. Where will this industry be in 5 years? Are we thinking about the mobile technology? Are we thinking about the next generation of the younger generation and their buying habits and the things that they are looking for from us? Or are we thinking about the way we used to do it? I'm encouraging you to think upward and outward and not downward and inward. And lastly, I want to talk to you about where you presently stand in your governance. Is it time we take a look at our policies and procedures? Is it time we reevaluate what it is that we're doing? By all means, be ethical in all your dealings. Know that the decisions you make could come with a price. And you don't want to bring a bad light onto your credit union. You don't want to be viewed in a negative manner. And so keep that in mind as we're governing our bodies and our organizations. When you think about governance and running an organization such as yours, don't tolerate putting off those big issues, those decisions that need to be made. Sometimes they're tough. Sometimes you're going to struggle with them. I want to share with you something on consensus building. Consensus building implies that we don't have to have a unanimous vote. We all don't have to agree upon the decision, but we have to support it. And I don't care what it is we're going after, we got to look unified when we come out of these board meetings. It can't be the us and the them, folks. It's got to be one for all and all for one. Maybe you didn't get your vote the way you wanted to. Maybe you saw it in a different light. Maybe the chairman had to step in and make a decision. But here's what we got to know. We got to walk out there unified. The next point is you got to support the board's final decision. You know, if this is all about you and how you feel, you're probably in the wrong position because you're not going to always get the decisions to go the way you want. Sometimes you're going to wrestle with some tough decisions that need to be tabled and you got to come back. But more importantly, just remember this, we always support the board's final decision. So to each of my board members listening, maybe it's time we take the chairman aside, the vice chair, the secretary, or the treasurer, whomever they may be, and share with them our feelings and let them know how we feel. But more importantly, let them know we're going to support the final decision of the board. And we're not going to leave with our egos and our attitudes and thinking, well, it didn't go my way. And if it doesn't work in the community, you'll be the first to say, well, I didn't vote for that and I didn't support that. Because that's no way to run an organization. People will follow people that they trust and believe in. So we remain unified at all costs. Obviously, to the chairs of the board, you'll certainly enjoy this point, but we got to support the chair and board discipline. Sometimes we have to have some corrective action with our board members. And I know that's not an easy subject to talk about, but when discipline's required or we have to have some corrective measures, support the chair's decision. A lot rests on the shoulders of the chairman of these boards that have to ultimately answer to someone, whether it be the community, whether it be your governing bodies in your countries, whether it be the regulatory forces that oversee you. Somebody has to give an accountability for this. Next, we need to talk about don't do anything, and I repeat, don't do anything to bring negative exposure, bad press, bad publicity to your organization. Remember that sometimes the camera will be put in your face. Sometimes the news reporter will ask you. Sometimes you'll just share with someone and you don't realize where that information's going and what's going to be said, how it's going to be misconstrued. How sometimes we see today in this video age that we have all these reporters running around with these mobile devices recording you. Just be very careful what you say. that never bring a negative light onto your board. We need now to talk about some strategic planning. We need to transition to now as to where are you at in terms of conducting your strategic planning sessions. We suggest to you that every year you should review your strategic plan. Every 2 years you should think about rewriting it or at least having a refresh of it. You should have a 5-year plan, maybe a 10-year plan, a 20-year plan. I don't know how your organization is planning, but I can tell you this. People never plan to fail. They simply fail to plan. In an ever-changing environment that we're in, you have to have a plan. It all starts with where are we going? What is it we're going to do? What are the services we're going to provide? What are we going to add value to? How are we going to expand our market? How are we going to retain the members that we have? Your strategic plan speaks to all that. As for the board members, it's important you know your role in the strategic plan. Some may be involved in the supervisory committee, the loan committees, and the various committees of the board, but they all make up the strategic plan. And so I'm going to ask you today to go to that shelf, pull that 3-ring binder off or whatever it is that you have, and review that plan with the board. Maybe it's time we have a retreat and you kind of get off site and start talking about where are we going. Because you can believe this, your competition is looking at your members right now, trying to figure out how do we win market share. The next point we want to talk about is your mission and vision statement. You see, I think this is something that should be publicized. I think it should be on your website, in your collateral, your marketing material. It tells people who you are. You know, it's not that we want to keep this a secret. We want to tell people that we're an organization of integrity. We're people that care about our customers. We're people that delivers prompt and excellent service to our members. Everybody should know what the vision is, then the mission statement. But more importantly, you should live by it. It should be the foundation upon which you do business. If you don't believe it, your organization is not going to believe it, and certainly your members won't believe it. Oh, you can put it on a nice glossy piece of paper and circulate it, and you can get it posted wherever you want. But if it's not who you really are, and I'm going to ask you to rethink that today, you have to have a mission and vision statement. And it's got to speak to who you are. It's got to speak to your community. It's got to speak to the people that you serve. Because remember this, they're counting on you. They need you. It's what you do that's making a difference in their lives. You may see it as words on paper, but they see it as you're all I have at certain times. You're where I turn to in time of need. I'm asking you today, board, please pull out that mission statement, that vision statement, and let's revisit it. Well, we all know that plans are ever evolving and ever changing. So there's obviously a constant improvement that needs to be added to the plan. You know, economic trends may be happening. Global decisions are occurring. All these things impact our plan. Obviously the economy, your local economy, your country's economy. Whatever it may be time sometimes that we got to take a course correction and we got to step back and ask ourselves, does our plan need to be modified? Do we need to make some changes? Should we consider maybe scrapping the plan? Maybe it's time to have a plan overhaul. But more importantly, I hope you're visiting on a regular basis your plan for improvement. Sometimes the improvement to the plan comes when we have a change in leadership. Maybe the vision of the previous administration is not the vision of the current administration. So it's maybe time to revisit our plan. It may be time to ask ourselves, does that going to work in this current market? I hope you're thinking about technology implying in your plan because as you well know, it's going to be the way that people do business in the future. So don't be afraid of the change. Embrace the change. Look at it as an opportunity to grow and to move from where you are to where you want to be. Also in strategic planning, you should have measurable outcomes, milestones, things that you can measure to say we're on track, we're moving along, we're accomplishing what we set out to do. You see, a plan without milestones is like a ship without a rudder. You don't know where you're going. How do you know when you've even arrived? So we have to have some measurable outcomes that we can obtain to say we're on track. Sometimes they need to be 30 days out so you can see a short success that you can build on. Sometimes they're a year out and you realize after 60 days in, we need to make an adjustment. But you have to have a point that you're shooting towards. You have to have an A and a B. A is your starting point and B is where you're going. Also, you need to understand that your stakeholders need to be involved. Now, in each organization, your stakeholders are obviously different. Sometimes it's the organization that you're primarily in business to support. It may be your elected officials. It could be the community at large. But until you get buy-in from your stakeholders as to what you're doing and they know where you're going, don't expect them to buy into the organization. Oh, I know you have what they need, which is money. But don't we want more than that? Don't we want to build relationships? Don't we want them talking to their children, to their neighbors, to their colleagues, to their coworkers about the value that you brought to them? Don't you want them to feel part of the organization? Buy-in is critical for success. Slow down just a minute and get their input. Hear what they're looking for. Survey them, question them, focus group, sometimes just a visit. Find out what your stakeholders want and deliver that for them. Give them that. I need you to think beyond the present situation. I need you to ask yourself this. Is where we're at right now indicative of where we're going? You see, the past doesn't equal the future. So if something didn't work that the board has tried, I want you to sit down and think about what can we do to make it better. Think beyond where you're at. See, that's the danger of the comfort zone, is to be trapped somewhere and say, well, we're doing well. Well, who says you're doing well? If the board members around the table say you're doing well, that's a unanimous vote. We all can say yes to that. But what are your communities saying? What are your customers saying? What are your members saying? What are your vendors saying? What are the people that do business with you saying? Think beyond your present situation. Ask yourself this. What's the next trend in the industry? You can either be on top of the wave, behind the wave, or in front of the wave. You pick. But generally, the people on top of the wave are the people that make things happen or are going somewhere. The people behind the wave wonder what just happened, and the people in front of the wave seem to never understand where they're going. Stay on top of this, and it's very important that you look beyond your present situation. Well, this brings me to the point we need to discuss about leadership. Leadership, roles and responsibilities. You see, the leaders of the organization create the vision. Without you, there is no success. Without you, there is no credit union. See, you make that happen in terms of the vision that you put forth for the organization. What kind of organization do you want to be? What do you want people to say about you? See, in every leadership role, we all come with a certain notion of what we want to see happen. But can you collectively put a body together and create a unified vision that all of us can work from or work with and work to? So I'm going to ask you to create a vision for your organization. Maybe where you're at is not where you want to be. Maybe you want to think about where we're going to be this time next year and create that vision around a plan, around some action items, but more importantly, get together with the key folks and think about where it is you want to be. We also want to talk about your true purpose. What is your true purpose for sitting in that seat you sit in every month or every quarter or every week, whatever your frequency is when the board meets? What is the true purpose that you have there? Is it really to serve people? Because it's a thankless job. I'm sure everybody doesn't appreciate everything you do all the time and come up and give you accolades, and when you got to make the tough decisions and people don't always want to agree with you. So you have to figure out why it is you do what you do. Do you understand that the servanthood of what you do is the real essence of who you are? I'm going to ask you to think about your true purpose in serving on this board. Why do I do it? Maybe you're tired. Maybe you've come to the point where, you just can't give anymore. And you're saying, I don't know how much longer I can do this. It may be time to step aside. I don't know. Only you know that. But to thine own self be true in this one area of your purpose and reasoning for sitting on this seat in the board. I know your name is published on the website. I know your pictures and everything. I know everybody knows your name. But is that the real reason that you're serving? Only you know your true purpose in serving on this board. What every board member should know is this: until your purpose is defined, you'll be a wandering generality and never a meaningful specific. Discover today what your true purpose is. I need you also to evaluate your commitment. Now, we know it takes a lot of time to serve on these boards. We know you're pulled in many directions, late nights, early mornings, impromptu meetings, and we know it never is convenient when big decisions have to be made. So I need you to think about your commitment. Can I go another 2 years? Can I go another term? Do I really need to step aside and reevaluate? Do I have the time to put in this and the energy? And if you do, I want to applaud you and ask you to keep that commitment level as high as you possibly can, because your organization needs you. Your CEO's looking to you for leadership. The staff of the organization is looking to you for your leadership. The community at large is looking to you. So please, this day, think about the commitment level that you have in serving in these fine organizations that you do. Well, I like to talk a little bit about flexibility. I often say those that remain flexible shall not be bent out of shape. All too often, if it doesn't go my way, I'm out of here. It's either my way or the highway. I've got the best idea. Well, you got to be a little flexible sometimes. Sometimes you may not have it your way. And what a difficult task it is, Mr. Chairman, Miss Chairman, watching today, to try to put all these personalities together and get them to mesh into a way that's best for the organization. You're going to have to remain flexible, folks. You're going to have to remain flexible with your time, with your energy. You're going to have to remain flexible sometimes with the decisions that come about. But more importantly, I want you to be flexible with your own self, to ask yourself this: am I really, really doing what's best for the organization, or is this all about me? Because flexibility would imply that I'm willing to sacrifice my feelings, my decision for the better of the organization. I need you to remain flexible in all your dealings with this organization. We should now talk about knowledge of the organization. Board members that are most informed and most knowledgeable tend to make the best decisions. So you need to understand what your total organization's impact is, what their reach is, what your market is, what the needs is of your organization, and beyond your members. Knowledge will bring a certain kind of power in making decisions. It's impossible to make these decisions when you don't even really understand the total focus of what we do and who we serve and what their needs are. So for me, please, become knowledgeable of the total organization. Understand what each facet does so that you understand how to make decisions when asked. Leaders are also excellent communicators, as well as excellent listeners. Leaders have the ability to understand that the art of communication would suggest that's not what I say, but it's my ability to listen and interpret what it is my colleagues, my community, my constituents, my members are saying. Leaders also understand that sometimes we need to listen. We need to hear from our folks. We need to hear from our members. I would like to share with you that listening is more than just hearing. It's actually paying attention. It's actually taking time to want to listen in those difficult times. So I'm going to ask you to work on those communication skills. Work on that listening. Work on being able to articulate your point clearly, but yet understand someone. Stephen Covey said it the best in habit number 5 of his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He said, seek first to understand before being understood. So take time just to listen and to see if you can just get to know the situation a little better through listening. Leaders are resourceful. They have the ability to collaborate and partner outside of their sphere of influence. Sometimes being resourceful means calling upon colleagues, constituents, maybe in other countries, maybe in other places, to find out what best practices are and how we can do it better based upon a model that someone else has created. We don't have to invent the wheel. We just need to know where to buy the wheel, or where to find the wheel, or where to order the wheel. But more importantly, just keep in mind, we're very resourceful as leaders. We also understand that we got to be realistic. Not everything can be accomplished. We need to be realistic in our meetings, that we don't have agendas overpacked, that we'll never cover all these topics. We need to be realistic in our expectations that we offer to our members and to the CEO and to the staff. We got to be realistic in what it is that we can accomplish in a day, in a calendar, in a year. Realistic doesn't imply that we're overcommitting and under-delivering. Do what you say you're going to do, and do it when you say you're going to do it. Mean what you say and say what you mean. Be realistic in all your dealings. Next, we understand that leaders understand change. Change is inevitable. Change is going to happen. Are we going to be a change agent and a leader in change in our organization? Or are we going to be dragging behind, wondering what happened and struggling with change? It's not that people don't like change, it's people don't like being changed. We change every day in our lives. As leaders, we're changing constantly. We're trying to get others to see the vision so that they will change and come along with us. So it's important that you recognize that change is inevitable. Growth is optional. We can grow from every change. There's a positive in every change if we just look hard enough, if we just look deep enough. Understand that we're going to have to experience change at times. While it may be uncomfortable, it may be the best thing for us. While it may be difficult, it may be essential and key to our future growth. To the leaders, please understand, you're going to be called upon and asked to make some hard decisions that are going to cause a lot of folks to be uncomfortable, but it's about what's best for the total organization. Embrace change. Become a change agent. Become a change leader. Also, you got to be proactive versus reactive leader. I often love the leaders that come with the solutions, not always dwelling on the problem. Be able to forecast and understand that just down the road, we're going to encounter something. Be proactive. Don't be reactive. I call it the firefighter. Don't put out fires all the time. We never gain progress. We never make ground. We never gain ground. Be proactive. Think outside. Think beyond. If this is repetitiously happening, the leader will step up and say, well, how do we fix it so it doesn't keep happening? Don't wait for the problem to arise and say, now we're going to fix it. Be able to forecast and say, this is a potential pitfall ahead. Be proactive, not reactive. Leaders, you are not there to manage the staff. Now, I know you all know this, and this is just something that I'm just going to lightly touch on, but you did hire a CEO. You do have a general manager. You do have some leadership in place. Trust them, believe them, support them. You see, all they want is your support. Don't micromanage them. If you hire them and they have the ability, let them do the job that you hired them to do. Believe in them. Support them. Give them your full backing. We can't have the us and them when it comes to the CEO, the staff, and the board. It's got to be a unified front. And lastly, I want to tell you, I'll talk a little bit about our CEO. You got to support them. This is the person that's in the trenches every day, making the tough decisions on behalf of the credit union. The one that's there managing what I'll call the entire organization. You got to support them. Sometimes, board members, it's not a bad idea just to pick up the phone and call the CEO and tell them how proud you are of them and the work they're doing. Sometimes it's not a bad idea just to stop in and say, I didn't come in for any reason, but to just tell you I'm real proud of you. Thank you for what you're doing. Maybe you'll write them a note. Maybe an early morning or a late night call. Sometimes that CEO is a thankless job, tireless. To the board, I say to you today, support that CEO. Give them your full 100 support. And you ready? Here it is. All the build-up was for this slide right here. I want you to remember this. Finally, you are a board member to serve, not to be served. You know, I go to conferences and travel around, and I see the board members parading around like they're royalty. There's an opportunity to show people that you really care. Serve them. Show them that you're there for them. Oftentimes I meet people that introduce themselves as, I'm the chairman of the board. Well, that's a great thing. That's a great title to have. But the question is, are you living up to that? Are you serving the people and giving them what they need? It's an awesome task to be a director of a board, chairman of a board, vice chair, leader on a board, and have to serve people that sometimes don't even know the price you're paying to serve them. I know. Many nights you will go home with the weight of the world on you because you're making decisions that impact so many people's lives. And we're talking about their financial lives. So I need you to understand what a great task and what a great job you have in front of you to serve the folks on your community, on your staff, your members, your constituents, your colleagues, whoever it is that you're serving. Just remember, they will know how much you care by what you do and not so much by what you say. Serve the people. They deserve it. They need it. Well, we should probably start winding down with a couple quotes here and a couple thoughts I'm going to leave you with. Leadership is a combination of strategy and character. If you must be without one, be without the strategy. Be without the strategy. You know, character is going to speak volumes. Character is going to be here when the dust settles. Character is going to be the thing that people are going to know you by. You could always count on them because they did everything they said they were going to do. Board members, be of character. CEOs, be of character. Treat people the way they want to be treated. Don't treat them the way you want to be treated. Give them what they need, not what you think they deserve. Leadership is an awesome responsibility. And I know you will do this. I know you're going to change your organization. I know you're going to, after viewing this, make a difference and go back and think about what we could do to be better. I'm just asking you to dust off some of the places in your mind that you haven't been to in a while and say, am I really doing all I need to be doing? I'm asking you board members today to think about one thing. Is this organization better as a result of my serving? And if the answer is yes, continue what you're doing. And the answer is no, you know what to do. Listen to this last quote by Maya Angelou. You got to love this one. People may not remember what you did or what you said, but folks, they will always remember how you made them feel. Yes, I've had some people in my life that have made me feel a certain way, and I've never forgot them. Some of them have been my mentors. Some of them have been my coaches in my life. Some of them have been people that have been so close to me in my life, and you just never know the people's lives that you're touching in this leadership role. You don't know what a smile is going to mean to someone. You don't know what a kind word means to someone. You don't know what a thank you is going to mean to someone. People will always remember how you made them feel. Well, why don't we talk about a little bit about the services that we provide at Hunt International and how we may be able to help your organization. We provide employee training and staff development around the topics of leadership, member service, attitude, maybe morale. Maybe you have a change issue or management issue or team building issue. We can develop content and customized training to meet those needs. Maybe it's time that we have a management supervisory refresh where we kind of come in and just go over the 3 types of employees that you manage in the workplace. And if you've been following me and you've seen any of my trainings, you know I talk about the engaged worker, the not engaged worker, and the actively disengaged worker, the 3 types of employees in the workplace. Next, I should share with you, we do board training where we come in and serve and help boards move from where they are to where they want to be. We like to say we poke you with a sharp stick called the truth and get you to ask yourself this: are we doing all we need to be doing? Yes, I speak at conferences, and I want to thank the folks down at OECS at the summit in St. Kitts. Where's my St. Kitts hat? St. Kitts there? Yes, sir. We had a ball with you. It's a great time, and that was a phenomenal conference that we had, and I just thank you so much. And to all the folks I met in Panama, when we were speaking there, I just want to thank you so much to all the friends that have reached out to us, and thank you so much. So yeah, we do conferences, then lastly we do seminars, retreats, webinars, and we kind of feel like we can help you. We understand the credit union movement. We understand who you are. Well, if you'd like to follow me on some of these social media outlets, here they are. Just plugging those in, Hunt International on YouTube, at Milton Hunt on Twitter. And if you do LinkedIn, we're just known as Milton Hunt there. And I want to talk to you now, just briefly, I'd be remiss if I didn't do this, about the upcoming CCCU conference that's going to be held in Paradise Island in the Bahamas. Folks, we're going to have a ball. You can see the topic there is Re-engineering Credit Unions for Success and Sustainability. I need you to register and get it in the budget. We're gonna need to see you there in the Bahamas. We're gonna line up this plan. The folks are working on. I've been talking with the the conference folks and the committee planning, and they're putting together a phenomenal event for you. Get it in your calendar. That's June 21st through June 24th. Paradise Islands in the Bahamas. Can't wait to see you there.
Amazing Atlantis.
I've enjoyed myself with you today, and today's topic was what every credit union board member should know. I hope I shared some things with you that got across some points, or maybe have you thinking a little differently about the role that you serve. We're going to continue bringing these exciting trainings through what we call First Credit Union Training. That's exciting. And so lastly, here's my contact information if you'd like to get in touch with me. Folks, I want to tell you I've thoroughly enjoyed myself sharing with you today. I want to thank so much the CCCU partnership that we have. We're looking forward to building upon this. Remember this: if it is to be, it's up to me. The good news is it's in your hands. The bad news is it's in your hands. We need you to get all the way in or all the way out. I'm Milton Hunt. This is First Cut. Thanks so much and have a fantastic day.